Oh, you did. Anyway, Madam Chair, I'd like to take this opportunity for the time that I have left and beyond to move the motion that was circulated to the committee, and I will just advise that the intent is to briefly explain what it is for those who may not know, and to adjourn the debate on that until at a time next meeting.
Point of order. So I want to be clear through you, Madam Chair, procedurally, that the Mr. Motts is using his time, or is taking this time for the intervention to table or give notice, because if I'm correct, the correct amount of notice time prior to the meeting did not elapse, and therefore procedurally he can't table it and then adjourn it. Those are different things. Providing a notice verbally is one thing. Tabling it and adjourning it is another.
Mr. Motts, I believe that the proper terminology would be just to give notice. I thought that's what we had discussed.
Okay, fair enough. I will give notice that we'll table this motion, and here's the idea behind it. This
Mr. Motts, I'll stop. I just want to inform you of about 25 seconds left.
Yeah, but this is not part of my intervention. This is the moving of a motion.
It's oh, okay. Pardon me then. I thought it was. Go ahead.
Thank you. An area of significant discussion that we've had at this committee has been whether the necessary threshold for the government to declare a public order emergency under the Emergencies Act has actually been satisfied. So the matter of the interpretation of those thresholds, including especially the so-called CPC
Madam Chair,
Act
just on a point of
threshold.
order, I'm not. I believe Mr. Motts is explaining the rationale behind the
Briefly,
notice that
yes.
he's giving us.
Yes.
That's he's meant to be doing that during the remaining portion of his questioning time, which is apparently 25 seconds, according to what you just said.
I'm informed that it doesn't count in your question time, but I'm wondering, Mr. Motts, if you can make it as brief as possible since a notice of motion.
Absolutely. I'd be done already had we not been interrupted so often, Madam Chair. The matter of the interpretation of these thresholds, including especially the so-called CPC Act threshold, about what constitutes a threat to the security of Canada has lately become a central issue in the proceedings before the Public Order Emergency Commission. We will all recall that when the Attorney General was here of Canada, appeared before a committee on April 26th, he insisted upon solicitor-client privilege when questioned about these thresholds. In face of this claim, on May 31st, our committee ordered the production of all legal opinions upon which the government determined.
No consequence to the witnesses before us. If he has a question for the witnesses.
Mr. Motts, can you wrap up the notice of motion, please? We can debate it next week.
I'm not debating it. I'm just simply introducing the motion or this particular motion that's going to be before us next week for those who might not understand what it is we're asking for. Transparency to Canadians is what I'm after here. Obviously, those who are opposed to this are anxious about transparency.
I appreciate. What would you continue, please?
Thank you. Evidence heard in the last few days at the Commission has made it clear that the government adopted for itself a broader interpretation of the CPC Act threshold than CPC itself employs to justify declaring a national emergency. The director of CPC confirmed that this was done on the strength of a legal opinion prepared by the Department of Justice. The Commission's efforts to probe these issues further has been repeatedly stonewalled by the government.
Madam Chair, I believe
Mr.
he's
Cameron
simply
remarked,
reading from a cover letter that he distributed to all of us. We've all got that letter. So if that's the notice, then we don't need to be listening to this. We've got
It's
it.
not to you, Mr. Nakvi.
Then it can be discussed next week, as we just agreed, Madam Chair. This is absolutely unacceptable.
Mr. Motts, can I just ask you to wrap up? I think you've got a fair bit on the record already.
Our committee is uniquely positioned to assist to get answers for both the Commission and Canadians, and the law of parliamentary privilege possessing a constitutional nature. Our committee and the House powers supersede statutory law.
If you
and
have
other
made a
privileges.
ruling,
As
then
such,
it could be challenged, and I so challenge that ruling, Madam Chair. I do not understand what is happening to this committee. Reading a 2-page letter into the record does not constitute a notice of motion.
Mr. Mott,
I
you're
have one more,
finished?
sir. With the commission's report being tabled in
Asking
less
you
than a
to
month.
finish?
Pardon me?
I'm asking you to finish there.
Yes. He is finished. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm done?
Yes. I believe you've covered it. Thank you. Okay, well, Ms. 5 minutes.